Viewed as a contemporary or modernistic art, installation art is an artistic genre of three-dimensional works that are often site-specific and designed to transform the perception of a space. It is an art that is created, constructed, or installed on the site where it is exhibited, incorporating diverse materials or physical features on a specific place at a certain period of time. Installation art arose from a lineage of conceptual, theatrical, site and time-specific ventures by various artists from within multiple movements. Installation art's history are often traced to the conceptual artists like Marcel Duchamp, the first to place a mundane toilet seat into the fine art setting in all of its literal plainness to be considered in an out-of-context setting. In 1970s, the concept that came into picture that describes works attentive to the entirety of the spaces they occupied and to the audience's viewing process. In the Philippines, Jun Yi, father of Philippine installation art, created Balag in 1970 as part of the massive student protest during the first quarter storm in the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and it was his first creation of installation art in the country.
Balag is a trellis, yung ginagawa sa mga farmers na nilalagyan nilang gagapangan ng ampalaya, mga ganon. In history, that was the first art exhibition na wala sa confine ng gallery. It's outside, it's outdoor.
In one of his interviews, he was asked, "What is Filipino art?" And he answered, and I quote, "Our art till that point had been Western art. I love Western art, but it does not reflect our identity. We have a lot in our backyard which can inspire, guide, and provide us with materials. Balag was my way of expressing our anger and opposition to the growing tyranny of the Marcos regime. The student protesters responded to the opportunity I offered by hanging poems and slogans they wrote on the balag or trellis I made." End quote. Art installations encourage people from all walks of life to take part in every creation. It has the ability to touch all our senses, an opportunity to give meaning, and maybe to create our own installations. Like most art forms, installation art has its key components. In this video, we will feature some of these elements, namely mixed media, sensory experience, conceptual use of space, site-specific, collaborative, temporality. Mixed media. Equipped by the environment with a wide variety of materials, installation artists mix different mediums such as painting, text, textiles, sculpture, audio and visual, and anything that can create interaction with their audience. Sensory experience. Immersing with the installation gives the audience the opportunity to feel the texture of the material, know the creativity deeply by moving around, smelling, hearing, and seeing every detail. It makes the experience exclusive for the audience. Conceptual use of space. Ideas and concepts are primary, and aesthetics is secondary. It allows the audience to think outside the box, to give a new interpretation on how we see and understand the things around us. Site-specific. As sculptors decide to carve on stones or a painter's decision to use canvas for a new work, a specific site can tell the story of the installation. It does not require a highly populated area. The space emphasizes the intentions and communicates it to the audience to deeply understand the artwork. Temporality. One of the original features of installation art is its temporality. The duration of the installation sometimes depends on the intentions, concept, or conveyed message. Thus, it allows the audience the chance to enjoy the art at a particular period. Collaborative. Art installations are best known for being humongous. In the process of its creation, installation artists gather people to come and work with them. Some are installation artists themselves, and some are from different backgrounds. Now that we learned some of the basic elements of installation art, let's get to know some of our local installation artists. Agnes Arelliano is renowned for her surrealist and expressionist installations that are usually in plaster, bronze, and cold-cast marble materials. Arelliano's works feature the term used by the poet Gerard Manley Hopkins, inscapes, where the assertion of internal unity among various elements in her installations and sculptures is highly noticed. Her usual themes revolve around the cycle of life, creation, and destruction. Recognized as the father of conceptual art in the Philippines, Roberto Rodriguez, or better known as Roberto Chabet, has mentored many architects during his 30 years in teaching. His works reflected the importance of space and how displacement of ordinary objects can alter their meaning. He is the founding museum director of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. He also initiated the 13 Artist Awards that highlights young artists' artworks that embody the contemporary view of art making and thinking. Now that we've met two of our local installation artists, I'm sure you want to know more about this form of art. To satisfy your curiosity, here is the father of installation art in the Philippines himself, Luis E. Yi Jr., famously known as Jun Yi. He was born in 1942. Jun Yi has two guiding principles in his career. First is to document and explore life as a Filipino. Second, to creatively use indigenous materials as a means of sculptural expression. To expound on these principles, here's a treat for you.
During my college days, that was the time of the flower people or the hippies. And at the same time, that was the time of activism. So it was a time na people are questioning, ano ba ang Philippine art? So my answer is very simple. Filipino art is Western art. So that was the time I started thinking na, why can't we do something that will reflect our being a Filipino? What I'm trying to say is that we have our own that we can use to develop in a contemporary form. The idea is, why don't we examine, experiment, or make a survey of what we have na is still existing? Yan ang ginawa ko. So going back to your answer, the reason why I do this thing because I love this country. I am a patriot. I am not a nationalist, I'm a patriot. I travel for exhibition, but I always come back because I love my country. So I call myself a patriot. So that is the reason why I do what I'm doing. So, dami kong favorito. Kung outdoor lang, mayroon akong mga gawa sa abroad, saka dito na hindi ko pwedeng sabihin na mas favorito ko kasi iba-ibang aspeto eh. Iba-ibang aspeto. Katulad ginawa ko yung angod, the forest one sa CCP. Angod is the end part of a illegally cut tree. Tapos tutulisin nila yon, the tapered one end, bubutasan nila, lalagyan nila ng tali para mahakot ng kalabaw. Can you imagine, I have more than 10,000 angod. So how many trees na napabayaan na? Kaya paborito ko yon. Kasi nang nilatag ko sila para silang sementeryo, para silang mga tumton. So yon. So these are just one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites actually. Because if I do something, I want to make buhos yung kung anong magawa ko. Ngayon, ang karamihan ng mga bata, ang gagaling. Ang dami magaling na installation artists ngayon. Pero malayo na hindi sila concerned sa environment. They are concerned with just the design aspect. You know, purely art lang yung tira nila. The good thing is, they are alive. I mean, they are still very creative as artists. Yun. We are back to Western art, especially because of the advance of computer. So ganun ang nangyari. And what you see there lacks the spirit of Filipinos, of Philippine culture. What you see there are international. Well and good uli. Good because they are practicing their creative brain. Not so good because it doesn't express our being a Filipino. Now, ang epekto sa atin ngayon, malaki. Because installation art are usually done outdoor. I mean, there are karamihan outdoor. Ang artist, kahit hindi installation, need audience eh. I mean, a live audience, hindi pwede yung mga Zoom. So, ganun ang epekto. Malaking epekto. Kasi, ang artist talaga is a communicator. So, nag-communicate kami to our art. So, we need audience talaga. We are still doing art kasi nasa bahay naman yung studio, wala naman sa labas. So, they can do artwork. Ako, I can do artwork. I have a studio there sa likod, gagawa. So, hindi problema yan. Ang problema, yung mga show, saka yung mga kliyente mo na hindi makita yung trabaho mo. Kaya yung mga collector ko, nagpupunta talaga dito. With appointment, napupunta kami ganitong araw. So, sige, come. So, malaking sakripisyo. Western. Because we are dominated. Why? Why are we dominated by the Western art? One, they controlled publicity. They controlled publication. All these things are controlled by first world country. Why? Because they are first world. They can afford. But who we are? I mean, we are third world country. We cannot do that. So that's where the influence came in. I have two answers for that, two advices for the young people. One, never think that art making is hanap buhay. It is never a hanap buhay, you know. Second, huwag kang matakot kung anong gagawin mo. Gawin mo yung gusto mo kasi galing yun sa'yo, artist ka eh, di ba? Hindi ka naman, yan ang gusto niyo gagawin ko. Hindi ka naman ganun ng artist, di ba? These are businessmen.
Now let's do an exercise. Here's what you're gonna need. 2 used different sized plastic bottles, scissors, plastic straw or panali, used paper or newspaper, used carton, used sando bag, glue or glue stick, and pieces of old fabrics. Now here's what you're gonna do. Create your own installation artwork using the given materials. Try to be creative. Now, what I want you to do is to take a photo or video of your artwork. Number 1, while doing the artwork, and number 2, after finishing the artwork. Have fun!